This is Anatomy of Success, and I'm your host, Steve Wohlenhaus. This week, to be a success in business, failing countries offer us 6 powerful lessons. Let's get started. This is Anatomy of Success, and I'm your host, Steve Wohlenhaus. This week, we're going to talk about how some failing countries can provide us with some valuable insight in how we can improve our personal success. As you know here, I'm a big advocate of avoiding mistakes. We evangelize the need to make mistakes and learn from our mistakes, and I get it. But boy, if we can avoid a lot of the mistakes that are obviously historically present as a product of what other people have done in the past, we can learn from those things and avoid mistakes that are easily preventable is the whole point. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and then subscribe to our audio podcast, if you will. Find me at weatherology.com. Under About Us at the top of that page, we get an opportunity to communicate a bit on social media and support each other there. Also, there's a weather app, Weatherology mobile app, that is free, and I hope you take full advantage of it. Radical ideas that promote division never galvanize sustained support, but they do produce momentum that creates considerable damage until we recognize the nefarious agenda behind the message. Sound familiar? Organizations that mandate policies promoting virtuous behavior are guilty of committing a common mistake that can ruin your company culture quickly. When we attempt to impose our beliefs on other people, we create a cult devoted to conformity that seldom welcomes dissenting viewpoints, and people grow tired of it quickly. It's the equivalent of evangelizing by thumping people over the head with your Bible. That's not how you change hearts. Some may comply, but we never cultivate the diversity, trust, and ownership we ostensibly aspire to create. I'm amazed at how many so-called leaders acquiesce to political pressure, fear of retribution, and lack of purpose in favor of popular trends that have no impact on the success of any organization. By indoctrinating people in a particular position, we offer contradictions about our willingness to embrace alternative perspectives. When the conversation about sensitive subjects is one-directional under the auspices of absolute truth, we shut down the opportunity to engage in open communication that's productive. In the end, we create an echo chamber of people that agree because they fear speaking up, or we build a tribe of fervent proponents that embody the dangers of us versus them. It's tribal mentality, and it's detrimental. So many organizations are guilty of this today. Sorry, but it's true. Creating a diverse workforce isn't complicated, folks. I've done it for almost 40 years. Gay, straight, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, transgender, Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, conservative, libertarian, liberal. Everyone is welcome. And we have a difficult conversation if necessary, engineered toward better understanding of one another. When that conversation becomes one-directional, we gravitate in a very dangerous direction, so let's avoid it. So here are 6 reasons countries fail that businesses should recognize and learn from. Ownership. When people lack ownership, a sense of imbalance begins to metastasize. Lack of land ownership is a great example of why countries like North Korea fail. When people feel alienated from ownership in our organization, they seek opportunities elsewhere. We can't create ownership with condescending, inflammatory rhetoric dedicated to division. Many companies are drifting in the direction of limiting beliefs, and it's very dangerous. Coercion. Using coercion to create compliance is a guaranteed way to ensure dissent. When companies embrace arbitrary policies based on inexact science or vague historical context, we create a workforce of people that follow the rules. Over the course of history, countries that force labor to fall in line ultimately fail. Great leaders don't coerce people to do anything. They create a culture of freedom, safety, and flexibility. Uneven. Countries that create a caste system fail. South Africa, perfect example of a place that allowed certain people to succeed based on ethnicity. Using race to differentiate people is a dangerous proposition that never ends well. When we create the impression of unevenness, we fan the flames of bitterness, anger, resentment. People pay equally, treat people equally, reward people equally, and we eliminate the perception of inequality by making it clear we don't tolerate it. Greed. When leaders get greedy, people take notice. When the richest companies in the world have people on their payroll that require government assistance, there's a big problem. I find it ironic we constantly quote people we declare as leadership icons that consistently demonstrate poor character. Public performances about social issues, the environment, and causes they care about. Inclusivity don't impress me at all. Actions speak for themselves, and great organizations are generous with their people. Egypt was a place where greed dominated for 3 decades until the people finally revolted. Monopoly. Monopoly of thought and ideas is a sure path to destruction. It's also a great way to create animosity and lack of opportunity. Big companies have too much control and prevent freedom of entrepreneurial opportunity. Competition and prosperity. The largest companies in the world have multi-billion-dollar valuations and employ a fraction of the people businesses did, 1/8 to be exact, of their size just a few decades ago. A company that creates a culture that monopolizes opinion, thought, ideas, and diversity create a vacuum of wealth, power, and incentive to a very few small number of people at the expense of many. Weakness. Poor leadership is a prevalent attribute in business today, a fact supported by statistics. Over 80% of all working adults are actively or casually looking for new opportunities. The primary reason? Cited weak leadership. Countries with weak leaders are vulnerable on many levels. They become an easy target because it's easy to cannibalize weak prey. People get tired of sitting through countless meetings dedicated to fashionable ideas when there's no evidence of these ideas being important until they become popular. Weak leaders make many mistakes, but they always drive the business into a bad place when they make these and embrace these types of choices. Tough conversation about how certain countries and big organizations are making mistakes that we should try to avoid if we want to build our entrepreneurial dream and have any hope of making it succeed predicated on the contributions of other people. Would love to hear your thoughts, maybe your personal experiences about this in the comments section below. I'm Steve Wohlenhaus. This is Anatomy of Success. Until next week, let's stay focused, let's stay positive, and let's stay optimistic.